KFC. The deep-fried truth they don't want you to know. The average American eats at KFC about 25 times a year. That's like inviting Colonel Sanders over for dinner twice a month. White suit, secret recipe, and all. But before your mouth starts watering for that crispy golden chicken, there's something you should probably know. Remember when your health teacher said, "You are what you eat"? Well, if that's true, then a lot of us are talking deep fryers coated in 11 herbs and mysterious science lab spices. Here's a personal horror story. Last week, I found a leftover KFC drumstick in my backpack from 2 weeks ago. The freaky part? It looked exactly the same as the day I bought it. No mold, no weird smell, just eternal fried chicken. Meanwhile, my homemade leftovers start growing a biology experiment after 3 days. See, real fried chicken? It's simple. Chicken, flour, salt, pepper, maybe some buttermilk if you're feeling gourmet. But KFC's recipe? It reads more like a chemistry set than Grandma's cookbook. Dozens of additives, preservatives, and flavor enhancers designed for shelf life, not your health. Let's talk about the so-called original recipe. KFC guards it like it's the crown jewels. 11 secret herbs and spices? Please, more like a clever marketing hook. The actual ingredients? Think monosodium glutamate MSG, anti-caking agents, and hydrogenated oils. Enough to give a nutritionist nightmares. And the chicken itself? Often pre-breaded and frozen, injected with sodium solutions to plump it up. Translation: saltwater meat shipped in bags from factories miles away. The secret isn't in the seasoning, it's in cost-cutting and uniformity. And wow, is it uniform? Every KFC, every bite, same crunch, same flavor, same texture. It's not cooking, it's cloning. Real food has quirks. At home, no two drumsticks turn out the same. But at KFC, it's like every chicken leg was copy-pasted off an assembly line. And the sides? Don't even get me started. Mashed potatoes? Not actually potatoes. They start as powder and end up looking like beige glue. I once watched a worker make them by dumping boiling water into a tub of flakes. It looked like spackle and smelled like synthetic butter. Their gravy comes from a dry mix. Their biscuits taste like they were whipped up in a lab, not a kitchen. Mac and cheese? Orange sludge over limp noodles, somehow too salty and completely flavorless. And the so-called healthier options? Yeah, those are often worse. Take the chicken sandwich. Sounds basic, right? Chicken mayo bun. But it packs 700 plus calories and nearly 1,500 milligrams of sodium. That's over half your recommended daily salt intake in one sandwich. Or the pot pie. Buttery, creamy, comforting. More like a sodium bomb with over 700 calories and more salt than 3 cans of soup. My friend tried the grilled chicken, thinking it was the smart choice. What he got? A rubbery, over-marinated hunk of meat that was just as salty as the fried stuff. Even the coleslaw isn't safe. One medium serving has more sodium than a bag of chips. That's cabbage, people. How did cabbage become this salty? And then there's the infamous double down. Remember that monstrosity? 2 fried chicken fillets sandwiching bacon and cheese. No bun, just meat holding more meat. At first, I thought it was a prank. Then I saw it on the menu. One of those bad boys has over 1,800 milligrams of sodium. That's like licking a salt block and calling it lunch. Even the desserts are suspect. You'd think a cookie or a cake would be a safe bet, right? Nope. Somehow, they manage to take simple comfort food and turn it into yet another ultra-processed sugar bomb. KFC might serve food that looks like home cooking, but behind the scenes, it's a factory system engineered for consistency, profit, and shelf life. So, before you reach for that bucket, ask yourself, are you hungry or just hypnotized by a brand? KFC. The deep-fried illusion gets even greasier. Apparently, one KFC chocolate chip cookie has 15 grams of sugar. That's right, one cookie. Their chocolate cake? Over 400 calories per slice. Basically, it's like eating a frosted candy bar. But the sugar overload doesn't stop at dessert. Take their honey barbecue sauce. Sounds innocent, right? Just one packet has more than 10 grams of sugar. That's more than a scoop of ice cream. So, If you're dipping your chicken in a few of those, congratulations, you just turned lunch into dessert without even realizing it. What's wild is the psychology behind it all. KFC wants you to feel like you're indulging in Southern comfort food made with tradition, love, and a pinch of nostalgia. But what you're really getting is a fast food facsimile of a Southern meal, re-engineered, dehydrated, frozen, and reheated until it's barely recognizable. As my cousin from Georgia once said, KFC is to Southern food what reality TV is to real life, technically accurate, but completely fake. And let's talk about those iconic chicken buckets. Once a symbol of family fun and togetherness, now they feel more like a dare. A standard 8-piece bucket, plus 2 sides and biscuits, clocks in at over 3,000 calories. That's more than most people need in an entire day. But the commercials don't mention that. They sell you togetherness. What you get is heartburn. One friend of mine tried feeding his family KFC for a full week. Cheaper than groceries, faster than cooking, he thought. By day 4, his kids were begging for broccoli. His youngest said, "Daddy, this chicken makes my tummy sad." Out of the mouths of babes. Sure, he saved time, but he paid in napkins, antacids, and regret. By the end of the week, he felt like he'd swallowed a deep-fried brick and needed a detox just to function again. Now, let's get into the meat itself, literally. KFC claims to use high-quality chicken. But former employees paint a different picture. At many locations, the meat arrives frozen for weeks, even months, already seasoned, breaded, and processed. By the time it hits the fryer, it's been through more steps than a passport renewal. One insider said, "It shows up looking like chicken nuggets. We just drop it in hot oil and hope for the best." That's not cooking. That's just industrial reheating with a Southern accent. And most customers? They have no idea what they're really biting into. They assume it's just chicken, flour, and some secret spice blend. But the ingredient list is like a chemistry textbook. Anti-foaming agents, texturizers, flavor enhancers, and stabilizers. Stuff you need a PhD to pronounce. One ingredient, sodium aluminum phosphate, is used in concrete production. At KFC, it's just part of the crunch. Then there's the oil, the golden potion that gives everything that deep-fried shine. KFC uses hydrogenated soybean oil, translation, trans fat central. Trans fats are so unhealthy, they're banned in multiple countries and heavily restricted in the US. Yet they still find a way to sneak into fast food fryers. Even worse, former workers say the oil only gets changed every few days. Depending on how busy the store is, your meal could be swimming in days-old grease. That's not just oil, it's history. Fried, reused, recycled history. Now, take a look at the packaging. Smiling kernel striped box, nostalgic picnic vibes. But ever notice how greasy those boxes get? That's not steam, that's leakage. I once left a KFC box on my car seat overnight. By morning, the grease had seeped through the box, through the bag, and stained my upholstery. If your dinner can ruin furniture, imagine what it's doing to your stomach lining. And finally, the marketing gimmicks. Every few months, KFC drops some viral monstrosity. A fried chicken sandwich with donuts for buns. Popcorn chicken on pizza. Nacho cheese wraps. It's like the late-night fever dream of a sleep-deprived college kid. These aren't meals, they're stunts, designed to trend, not to nourish. So, the next time KFC drops a new limited-time item, ask yourself, is it dinner or is it a dare? KFC. When fast food becomes a slow burn, people line up, snap a photo, and post it like they've just visited a museum exhibit. It's Instagram-worthy, sure, until the filters are off and they're left holding a sandwich that tastes like regret and sugar. Let's talk beverages. You walk in expecting a simple combo meal and a small drink. But KFC's small is what used to be a large in the 90s. One medium soda, over 60 grams of sugar. That's like drinking 2 candy bars and wondering why you need a nap afterward. And don't forget the constant upselling. Would you like to make that a large for just $1 more? Translation, double the calories, double the regret. It's not hospitality, it's nutritional sabotage dressed up like good service. Think you'll outsmart them and order water? Good luck. At many locations, water cups aren't even visible. You have to ask, and when you do, they hand you a tiny cup fit for a dental rinse, barely enough to wet your lips, let alone quench thirst. It's almost like they're punishing you for not choosing soda. Then there's the sweet tea. One serving contains so much sugar, it makes soda look like a health drink. I tried calculating the sugar in a large cup once and stopped halfway through because it felt more like doing math for a dessert buffet than a drink. But the real masterstroke here is the branding. KFC sells you nostalgia, Southern charm, a folksy kernel promising a homemade meal filled with love, except it's not homemade, not fresh, and hardly Southern anymore. KFC is owned by a massive multinational corporation, the same one that owns Taco Bell and Pizza Hut. It's about as Southern as a quarterly earnings report. The commercials paint a picture of grandma frying chicken in a cast iron skillet. In reality, it's a teenager in the back pulling trays from a freezer while checking Snapchat. And remember that time they ran out of chicken? A fried chicken chain with no chicken. That's like a gas station running out of gas. Why? Because when your supply chain stretches across continents and depends on just-in-time shipping, even the smallest hiccup can shut everything down. Some customers left with nothing but a biscuit. One store even hired a DJ to distract people from the empty kitchen. No joke, but maybe the scariest part? How normal this has all become. We expect it to be greasy. We expect to feel bloated. We expect it to be unhealthy, but we still eat it. Because it's easy, because it's fast, because it's cheaper than groceries, or so it seems. But long term, it's not cheap. Not when you add the cost of doctor visits, blood pressure meds, fatigue, and sick days. That $20 bucket might fill you up today, but what's the real price 20 years from now? A friend of mine gave up KFC for just 1 month. Not as a grand gesture, he just got tired of feeling like a walking oil slick after every meal. The first few days? Brutal. Cravings everywhere. Every billboard, every commercial, every passing scent felt like a personal attack. His car kept turning into the KFC drive-thru like it had muscle memory. He literally had to steer away, like he was dodging an X at the grocery store. But after a week, something changed. The bloating stopped. His skin cleared. That weird, greasy film on his tongue after every meal? Gone. His energy was no longer a roller coaster. It was steady. He started sleeping better, thinking clearer. But the biggest shift was mental. He realized he'd been eating KFC out of habit, not hunger. Boredom, stress, proximity. That mindless, why not, had been draining $150 a month and leaving him worse off with every bite. Then came the physical results. His blood pressure dropped by 10 points. His doctor gave him a high five. He lost 8 pounds. Without exercising more or changing anything else. No calorie counting. No apps. Just one choice, no more chicken from a bucket. At the end of the month, he thought he might treat himself. Just one meal. For old time's sake. He walked in, waited in line, breathed in that familiar fried air, and something strange happened. It didn't smell like food anymore. It smelled like chemicals, oil, and regret. Fast food, real consequences. What KFC isn't telling you. He turned around and walked out without ordering. It felt like visiting an ex and remembering. "Oh yeah, this is why we broke up," he said. That's the power of taking a break. It resets your taste buds, clears the fog, helps you see past the marketing and finally notice what you're really eating, not what a commercial wants you to believe. And to be fair, the commercials are good. Slow motion shots of golden brown chicken. Biscuit steaming, coleslaw glowing in perfect sunlight. But the truth? It's not in the commercials. It's in how you feel after the meal, the sluggishness, the heartburn, the regret. That slow, sinking feeling like maybe, just maybe, that bucket of chicken wasn't such a great idea. Let's be clear. This isn't about guilt. It's not about saying never eat at KFC again. It's about awareness. It's about understanding what you're putting into your body and realizing that a smiling kernel on the box doesn't mean the food inside was made with care. It means someone figured out how to sell you comfort in a box and how to keep you coming back for more. A nutritionist once told me something I'll never forget. Fast food doesn't just feed your hunger, it feeds your habits. It delivers salt, fat, and sugar in the perfect combination to make your brain light up like a slot machine. That's not cooking. That's engineering. It's not about nourishment. It's about addiction by design. Even the slogans play into it. Finger licking good. It's not about what's in the food. It's about how it makes you feel for 3 fleeting minutes, right before the food coma kicks in. And after the rush fades, you're left holding an empty box, a crumpled napkin, and that quiet voice inside asking, "Why did I do this again?" I once asked a former KFC manager how he felt about the food after leaving the job. He paused and said, "Honestly, I haven't touched it since. I used to love it, but once you see how it's made, you can't unsee it." That should tell you everything. But let's not pretend this is just about KFC. It's not. This is a much bigger story. It's about the fast food industry as a whole, the illusion of convenience, the lie of value, the manufactured craving for food that takes more than it gives. When we eat fast food without thinking, we don't just spend money. We spend our awareness. We trade our power to choose for a moment of salty satisfaction. Here's a challenge. Try making fried chicken at home. Real chicken, real flour, real oil. It'll be messy, It'll take longer, but it'll taste like food again, not like a product, not like a brand, and definitely not like something that comes in a greasy box. Or keep it simple. Roast a chicken. Chop fresh vegetables. Make a salad with real ingredients and no sugar-loaded dressing. When you strip away the packaging, food should give you energy, not take it away. It should fuel your life, not drain it. Sure, KFC has its place in our culture. We've all got memories, family road trips, lazy Sundays, maybe even that one uncle who brought a bucket to Thanksgiving because he forgot to cook. That's fine. Memories matter. But memories don't have to become habits. You can honor the past without repeating it every week. So, the next time you're driving past that red and white sign, ask yourself, is this what I actually want? Or just what I've been trained to crave? Because there's a difference between hunger and habit. One feeds your body. The other feeds a billion-dollar industry that's counting on you to stop asking questions. And if you've read this far, congratulations. You're already ahead of most people still sitting in the drive-thru. What you do with that awareness, that's up to you. But whatever you choose, let it be your decision. Not autopilot. Not advertising. Not a craving disguised as comfort. A real, conscious choice. Because you deserve more than a reheated drumstick and a catchy slogan. You deserve food that serves you, not a system. Still craving that fried chicken flavor? Good. Take back the recipe. Use your kitchen. Your ingredients. Your rules. You may not have 11 secret herbs and spices, but at least you'll know exactly what you're eating. And that's worth more than any combo meal ever created. Colonel Sanders might have had a great smile, but your body will thank you for not falling for it.